Talk among yourself.
Oh. I'm Steve.
Please do.
Yeah. All right.
She was making copies.
Yeah, I apologize. I had made,
Oh,
printed
sorry.
out the agenda.
I
Oh,
have some.
oh, okay, that's what I
That's
was.
not much to have it help, are you?
No, I am not.
Virginia, I'm staring at the screen waiting for Alice so that we have a forum.
Okay.
Otherwise you can talk among yourselves.
This is all of it.
But I think Virginia just printed some.
I was gonna say, you have two, yeah, one for.
Cool, thank you.
I didn't even think. I knew what time it was.
Make sure you're not doing it instead. Get a letter. Appreciate that. I need to confess that I still get touched. That's your back.
Henrik?
Yeah.
Henrik.
I'm sorry. I can see it. Under the letters.
Nancy, can you hear
I
us?
thought that's what you were working on. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, no, how did that sound like that? Somebody.
So, those of you online, I was telling people here I was waiting for a fifth member of the Library Advisory Board, which we need for a quorum.
And yes, currently, our fifth member isn't in.
It's usually attaches by teams, but I don't see any.
Barb, I see your hand is up.
Yes, good evening, everybody. There's a loud echo. It may be on my side because I'm hearing an echo in my voice. Nancy, do you have an echo?
No, Barb, I don't have an echo on my side.
Okay, I'm gonna re-enter.
Well, when I was in college, we waited for a full professor for half an hour and a PA for 15 minutes.
Oh, I remember at UAA, we could leave after 50 minutes, and I had a professor who'd show up at 4:30 every time.
Oh, really? Well, I tell you what, even, since we're still waiting, but I know that,
We're waiting on Alice.
we're waiting on
Alice has joined.
her. Oh, she has, oh, good.
Hello, Alice.
Oh, eight.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Alice, thanks. I cannot read that far with these glasses. Okay, we will call us to order at 5:37. And I'm very glad to see members and visitors, and I would like to start the meeting by acknowledging that we are gathering this evening on the traditional lands of the Dena'ina Athabascan people. For more than 1,000 years, the Dena'ina people have been and continue to be stewards of the land. So it is with gratefulness and respect that we recognize the contributions, innovations, and contemporary perspectives of the Upper Cook Inlet Dena'ina people. And I think I will just do the roll call, Maggie, if that's okay. That's usually a secretary, but you're new here, so.
Got it.
Generally, what we do with roll call is if somebody's reading a book they particularly want to share with others, they can say it then. So we'll start with Deborah.
I'm here. Well, I just finally finished the Mayfair bookshop. It's been a while.
Dennis.
I finished book
by a guy named Jonathan Parshall and Anthony Tully, called Shattered Swords, a Japanese perspective on the Battle of Nolan.
Thank you. And Alice?
I'm here. I am reading The Science of the Sacred, where it examines traditional knowledge in medical and scientific field.
Thank you, thank you. Doug?
I'm reading an Ian Banks book in a series.
And I am here, and I actually didn't bring this as a visual aid, but I thought I might be here longer than anybody else, so I brought it to read. This is the new Barbara Kingsolver, Demon Copperhead, and I think it might be the best thing she ever wrote.
Oh, sorry.
So that was good. You've all received the minutes and the agenda. Let's take the agenda first. Does anybody have anything they want to add to the agenda?
Well, if I may, I sent a letter to the advisory board this afternoon, and some of the municipal code that was quoted by me, I'd like to add to that. I don't know if I can amend that or not, but when I gave testimony, or when we spoke last week, I was in Los Angeles in a hospital, so it was kind of a tough place for me to share, so.
Would you like to add that to the agenda, to maybe board comments?
We could, yeah, that'd be good, thank you.
Sure. Anything else? Move to approve the agenda, somebody?
I'll move to approve.
Thanks, Deb. Seconded by?
I'll second.
Thanks, Dennis. Have you had a chance to look at the minutes from March 15th?
Madam Chair, this is Alice.
Yeah.
Hi, I just wanted to say that I apologize for missing the last meeting. I've been sick for a few weeks now. So I haven't had a chance to catch up with everything, but I hope to do that by the end of the week if that's okay. So I haven't had a chance to go over materials and everything that's going on.
I understand. Well, thanks for mentioning that, and I hope you're feeling totally well now.
Getting better.
I'll give you a call tomorrow and catch you up, okay?
Yes, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Minutes, corrections, move to approve.
I move to approve the minutes for last week.
Thank you, Dennis.
I'll second.
Doug. Right here. I'm reminding everybody that we did move the mission moment up in the agenda by request so that staff can do their stuff and then not necessarily have to stay, but you're welcome to stay. But Sarah, you are on.
Am I up? All right, what's the best place for me to be?
Probably the place where everybody can see you.
Here?
Is that
Probably
what
should
you're-
get her a chair maybe.
Do you want a chair? You want to stand?
I'm fine standing.
Okay.
Okay. So, I will truly be but a moment. I just wanted to let folks know about our winter reading challenge. So just to introduce myself, my name is Sarah Prescott. I'm the Adult Services Coordinator here at Anchorage Public Library. I've been in that position since last July. And this is the second year that we did the winter reading challenge. It was the idea of one of the Adult Services staff to do something to kind of get us out of those winter doldrums. So some feedback we took from last year was to make it longer, because last year it was 4 to 6 weeks. So this year, we heard that, and we aligned it with the first quarter school calendar. We did it when school started to the first day of spring break. Feedback we'll take for next year is to do it for even longer. So next year, we'll do it January 1st/2nd, because that's when we get back. January 2nd through March 31st. So we'll do that full first quarter, because that just aligns better with folks' mental calendars. So we were just really excited to get that kind of feedback, and it really took off this year. Last year was just kind of our first year, our trial. We got such great feedback this year, and I've got these I can pass around to both sides. It really got folks reading out of their comfort zone, something they might not have picked up otherwise. One of my favorite pieces of feedback was that I believe it was, I finished a book I really disliked. So that was their favorite part of the reading challenge, which, I mean, yeah, life's short, so you don't always necessarily get to the end, but sometimes, you get to the end and it's really great. So folks had a really good time with this on social media as well. We got a lot of engagement. We had some great prizes. We stayed local for our prizes, so we were supporting local businesses. And this was funded by the Friends of the Library. That's where we got the money for the funding for our prizes. Oh, I'm sorry, I do not have the number that participated. It was about 100. That's my moment. Does anybody have any questions?
Concise.
Hearing none.
So what was the increase from the year before?
We didn't keep stats the year before. It was
Oh,
just
it
one of
could have
those.
been 100%.
Oh, it could have been.
Just say
And
100%.
it was absolutely 100%. We did keep stats this year, of course, and the idea is that we will start keeping those stats of what the increase was and what the feedback is, so we can start building very much like they do with Summer Discovery. How did it change from last year? And we'll be doing it on purpose as opposed to like, hey, this is a fun time, we should do this. So yes, we will start keeping track of that, and I will hopefully have increases to report next year.
Well, that was a lovely increase this year.
Yes, it was. And I can only take credit for supporting staff in this. It was all their idea. They did the heavy lifting and they did a really great job.
Well, cool.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Feels like winter doldrums are finally over, so we'll just have to.
Yep.
Next
Still no one for next year.
We are at persons to be heard. I know that, thanks. Barbara and Nancy are here to be heard. Is there anybody else in the room or online that would like to use this time to say something for 3 minutes?
Mine's way less than 3.
You don't have to speak for 3 minutes. Anyone else? Any hands go up? Nancy, would you like to lead us off?
I can. Would you like my camera on
Sure.
or off?
Yeah, I want to
Okay.
see it. Yep.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Yay! Okay. Well, hey, I miss being with you. I received word while I was traveling that my current term on the Library Advisory Board would end before tonight's meeting. And so I wanted to take an opportunity to say a few words in leaving. I was originally nominated to the board by citizens of Eagle River to complete an unexpired term for a Chubiak Eagle River member. It was a surprise at the time. I had been unaware of the board and its responsibilities. It has since become a privilege to represent patrons of the Chubiak Eagle River branch, the second largest library in the APL system. And you know I'm a champion for Chubiak Eagle River. I've been honored to serve the board in many capacities, including chair, vice chair, and more recently secretary. Have we witnessed the work of the library's dedicated staff in creating programs, connecting community, and providing a place for all of Anchorage's citizens. I did reapply last year for a seat on the board, and I've been told it's under review, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But in the meantime, I wanted to express my appreciation for the opportunity to serve and to wish you all the best in the future. That's it.
Well, I would like to say thank you personally and grouply for everything you've done for this board and this library, and we'll continue doing it for this branch also, I'm sure.
I sure will. I will continue volunteering every Tuesday, among other things.
It's nice to see you.
Thank you.
It's good to see you all.
Barb?
Yes, hi. Well, I don't think I can speak as eloquently as Nancy just did, but I also received a letter, so I'm no longer on the board. I also reapplied, but I haven't heard back. I want to thank everybody who's on the board right now for continuing the mission of making the Anchorage Library as strong as it can be and as open to all different points of view. I think our role on the library as a library advisory board participant or board member is so important. And I hope you all will continue to do that and following all our policies and procedures and the Library Bill of Rights. So thank you very much, and that's all.
Thank you, Barb. I'll miss you too, but let's have coffee.
Okay, sounds good.
Kim?
Well, hello. I was here last week. My name's Kim Hayes. I'm the chair of the Anchorage Library Foundation, the private nonprofit that raises money for mainly capital projects and some mini grants for all the branches. I'm just here to say that one of our goals on our board is better collaboration between the 3 boards, which look at this tonight, we've got representatives from all the boards, and just to foster better relationships between the 3 boards. And so I'm here to I start attending these meetings every month so I can report back to my board about what's happening. So we just, when you're in the community and you have anything to do with the library, people think you know everything about what's happening. So it's just the more information I have, the better I can communicate on behalf of the library.
Thank you. Are there any, I should have done this before, but are there any comments or questions for any of the 3 people we've just heard?
I'd like to thank Nancy and Barb for their dedication to being on the board. I think it speaks well of them and the community.
Thank you.
I would as well.
Yeah. You're getting a unanimous thank you here.
Thank you.
Madam Director, it's
Yes.
your report time.
Okay, you all have the director's report that was included in your packet. Then in addition to that, I just wanted to follow up and say that, as you probably are aware, the municipal attorney has stated she will not consider the Library Advisory Board's request for a legal review of the library book until the board has followed their request for consideration process. So, the library has received a request for reconsideration for Let's Talk About It by Erika Moen. The request came in shortly after the last meeting in March. The request was reviewed by an ad hoc committee of professional librarians chaired by the acting collection development coordinator. The committee determined that the book should stay in its current location, which is YA nonfiction. I've received an appeal to this decision and am currently researching similar cases inside Alaska as well as around the country for providing a response. So that should catch you up. Additionally, I wanted to mention that we have a couple of new staff members. We have a new adult services librarian as well as a new budget coordinator. Molly Rocher right there. We have exciting programs coming up in the next few weeks. We have Storytime on the Bus on Tuesday, which is a partnered program with People Mover. We have Meet the Director programs all next week, including we'll be at Eagle River on Saturday for an author event, and on the 27th, I think there's a few things that are going on related to the boards. Misty Rose, our communications coordinator, has cooked up something really, really fun. The seed libraries are opened up at Garish and at the Mountain View locations, which is very exciting. So we can start to see going in there. Have a seed library where you can check out seeds and then you grow the plants over the summer and then you bring in the seeds at the end when you collect your seeds. It's very nice. This Saturday we have Dino Day. We expect 1,000 people to come and see the big walking Tyrannosaurus Rex. And then coming up on May 20th for Reading Rendezvous, we have the author Renee Telgemeier, which our youth services coordinator is extremely excited about. So that's going to be a great program. That's what I have.
Questions?
Yeah, Madam Chair. I have a question for the director, if you don't mind, and just a clarification, a point of clarification. The request for reconsideration on that book, was it to have the book banned, or was it to have the book moved to a different section of the library?
It was to consider moving the book, also consider removing the book.
What do you mean by removing them? Oh, removing it from the library?
That was there were multiple possibilities in the request.
Okay, well, I think that a lot of folks out there that are in the media are under the understanding or misunderstanding that there are folks and people that work to ban that book, and that's not the case. We just feel that that book is breaking municipal and state code and laws, and by law, any child under 18 years old should not have access to that book, in our opinion. So, not banning, it just needs to be out of the teen underground, in our opinion. So that's what that is. So I think we've been misquoted quite a bit, and I'd like to see that corrected, if possible. So is there any way we can see that request for reconsideration? Can we make a hard copy of that, the Library Advisory Board, or?
We can certainly add it to the packet.
We'd appreciate that. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
The next time you meet?
Oh, we can put it up tonight.
So the teen section is ages what to what?
14, is that right?
The teen section, I guess, is, there's YA, there's older teen. Yeah, I wish Elizabeth was here to go into the exact age ranges of the different sections. But usually, I think it's, oh my God. This is not my area. I was never a youth services librarian. I'll just have to say that. So this is very embarrassing, and
Oh,
Elizabeth
that's
is gonna
I'm sorry.
yell at me.
And had I known I was gonna ask, I would call
It's
that.
really, really terrible because, you know, we have the YS department, and inside of that, we have the early readers, and then we have the juvenile, and then we have YA. And like I said, I think she has an older teen section, so the age ranges on each one of those, I can certainly report back to the board and send it out, but.
Well, yeah, I was just wondering, you know, because if it's in an older teen section or if it's in a younger teen section, that's.
So, yeah, I will get that information for you.
Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you so much.
Oh.
As usual, we are
Are we clipping right along?
clipping right along. We have reached board comments. Is that something you wanted to speak to?
If I could, please, and then I'll be done with this, and I'm sure there's other folks who would like to speak. I would like to update the minutes because I misquoted some of the municipal code being out of town. So, and this is in the letter that I sent the entire board, but municipal code 8.50.020, which is dissemination of indecent materials to minors. And I think I just think that book may fall underneath that. And this is a discussion, it's not just happening in Anchorage. This book is being discussed, the heated discussions about this book across the country. And I hope everybody's comfortable and it's an appropriate place to do this. A lot of misinformation out there, and that's unfortunate that that's happening. We just want to make sure that book's in the right hands. And MOA 8.50.010 states that a minor means any person under the age of 18, regardless of parental permission or emancipated status. And that takes precedence over the American Library Association's Freedom to Read Statement and Library Bill of Rights. So I think that there's other wheels turning here that are beyond this room. And I'm very glad to hear that you're still looking into that book and the appropriate placement for it. And I have a copy of it, and I would invite anybody who thinks that books are just trying to be banned arbitrarily to reconsider that. I'm a 30-year teacher, public school teacher, and I've taught thousands of kids in the Anchorage School District. And I have to tell you, if that book were in my school by law, I would have to report that. And I don't understand why the library is not held to the same standard that a public school is. That confuses me. So, and I'd be more than happy to speak more about that, but it's an issue, I think. And lastly, I would say that the Mat-Su Valley has had issues with it. They're a little more conservative maybe than Anchorage is, I don't know. But they are actually putting parents on the committee that reviews literature. And I would invite local politicians, folks from all different spectrums to be on that board. I don't want to sell this whole thing as we're right and you're wrong. I just want to make sure we're doing the right thing here, because there's some things in that book that are pretty disturbing to me as a teacher and as a father, and, you know, and just as a resident of Anchorage. And I think a lot of folks who are being misled by some of our online sources, they have not seen that book. That book has not been in their hands. I don't invite them to change that. Take a peek at it. And I don't know, I guess that's what I have to say. So I appreciate you amending the notes, and that's what I have. Thank you.
Yeah, and Doug, I'm sorry I interrupted you in the wrong place to get the change in the minutes, so tell me.
Yeah, the change in the minutes, I just wanted to add the municipal code, it's in the letter that I sent to the board
Okay,
today.
so you want.
Those are the two, if you could add those in there. I didn't have notes, I was at Cedar Sinai with my friend who's fighting cancer, so I didn't have all my notes, and I wasn't really supposed to be visual conferencing in there, but.
Doug, do you want to add your letter into the notes?
I do want my letter to be part of the official record, because
Okay.
I would tell you, you know, if however this falls, I want it to be very clear where I stand on this. That book should not be in the hands of any child in this city.
So would you like it if I'd add it to the minutes of this meeting?
Whatever you think would be appropriate, that'd be good, I'd appreciate that.
Will do.
And I'm glad we're having a discussion here, and I'm sure that it's uncomfortable for a lot of people, to include me. It's out of my comfort zone. 30-year teacher. So, I mean, that means something, I would hope. And you know, I get the impression that when some of these requests for reconsiderations are done in secret with folks who have library science degrees, I don't understand why that would take precedence over other folks that are working with children. And I just don't know how we can ignore municipal and state code and laws. And maybe we can, I don't know. Because we are right now. And again, I'll stop talking now. So, thank you.
Comments? Thank you, Doug.
Thank you.
Madam Chair?
Yes,
Hi, this is Alice.
hi Alice.
I think we've having a conversation about this a few months ago, and forgive me for being behind on this conversation, but I thought that we had spoken about that there was a process that the library has about accepting books, putting books around, or where they're placed, like that there is a process in place, a review process or whatever. And I was wondering if it's under the Library Advisory Board's purview to review, select books.
So, so I think there's two different processes. I think you're talking about the collections policy. And part of that is the reconsideration policy that several people have mentioned, that Virginia was just describing. It's a multi-level process where a person fills out a form and presents it in person so that we don't get layered with phishing things. And the form then goes to a committee of librarians, professional librarians, yes. And they make it a response to the complaint or the recommendation. That goes back to the person or organization requesting it. Then there's a multi-level process where that person or organization can appeal that response. And all of these have time limits attached to them. That appeal then goes to the director, and what Virginia was talking about is that she is in the process now of reviewing that appeal. That goes back to the initial person or organization, and and if they like that response, we're done, it's fine. But if they wish to also appeal that decision, that's when it goes to the library board, which I think is where you were going, Alice. That then the library board is kind of the final word on reviewing and responding to the request. Did I get that all right? I think, but when you said, is the library board in charge of the collection itself, that's not quite right, because there's a whole department of the library that that decides what books to choose to bring into the library, what books to keep and not, get rid of. There's a whole list, it's really quite a nicely written policy, but there's a whole list of criteria that library department works on, about its applicability, its quality, its literature, it's a whole variety of things, who the audience is and so on. You could probably run those down more clearly than I could, but so the reconsideration policy is part of that umbrella policy. Did I answer your question or confuse you?
Yes, that helps a lot. Thank you.
Great, thanks for asking, Alice.
I have a question,
Doug.
if you don't mind. Who's on that committee? I know it's librarians from this branch. I mean, do we know who's on that committee?
Yeah, it's the collection development coordinator chooses 2 other librarians, and they all have collection development experience.
Okay. So we're in the process, is what's happening now, is what you're saying. And again, I have to say it, nobody has suggested that I'm aware of banning any books. The public needs to know that. I read banned books. I just don't want children to read things that are inappropriate. I teach in the gifted department, and I have kids that can read 4, 5, 6 grade levels above the average kid. That doesn't mean they should be reading these things. And I'm hoping that you pause and think about this long and hard. I really do. There's a place for that book, but it's not anywhere a child can access it. And I don't know how everybody else feels on the board. If anybody would like to see that book, I can get a copy in your hand. It's troubling.
Hi Doug, this is Alice. I'd like
Hi,
to,
Alice.
would you mind sending me a link to the book? That would be super helpful. I don't even know what we're talking about, honestly.
I can. I'll do that. Absolutely, Alice.
Sweet,
You're welcome.
thank you.
And I'm right, it's only that one book that we're talking about that's under review. Yes,
I guess, Ken, is there anything we need to know on capital projects? Do you think we should know today?
Oh, that's a good point. We're working on the downtown library right now, really hard, touring the site, trying to figure out what we can and can't do to a historic building, that kind of stuff, what floors we can have it. So that's kind of our closest to fruition project is downtown library, which is really exciting. That's kind of our big focus right now, putting all our energy there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry to pull you off.
No.
No, it's good. Do we know when that's gonna open? We have
No,
a
I mean, we're
projected
still, how,
date? Boys, saying-
it's a
They know
historic
what
building.
floor.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where there's
Exciting.
commissions we have to go through because it's historic city hall.
Yeah.
It's currently what we're investigating.
That's exciting. What a great
Very
project.
good question.
It's a very cool building.
Yeah.
It is. I see it, yeah.
I think it'd be a great thing to have as part of the library system, as preservation of a historic building within the city and still putting it to a functional use.
Yeah.
We need a field trip down there one of these days. That'd be
Yeah,
good.
it's like a revitalization.
Yeah.
Therefore, good luck
Yeah.
finding a place to park.
You need our support
great.
in any way?
It's pretty well supported. We've got, a really good support. It's mostly getting this building, looking at things, what we can do to it.
Having lost the Fourth Avenue Theater,
Right.
this is especially precious. Okay. Any other comments from the board? I've lost my agenda.
For the next step. General staff.
I've been told in the past that I've just adjourned meetings without asking the proper motion for it. I'm not going to do it again. Is there a motion to adjourn this meeting?
I'll move to adjourn.
Thank you, Dennis. Is there
I'll
a
second.
second?
Yeah, I'll second.
things, but this meeting is adjourned at 6:08. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We want to run our meetings.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
go on forever.
Bye, Alice, feel better.
This is kind of unusual for us to do.
Thank you.
Alice, thank you very much. I'll talk to you soon, and all other guests here or virtual. Appreciate your attendance.
Alice, I'm gonna email that link to you, okay?
She
Oh,
could
sure,
be
come
gone.
Gone.
Dinner?
I'm gonna try something, I can't.
I know, I did think about that, but I was.
Okay then.
I'm glad you-
Yeah?